Well, I think that the connective tissue is curiosity. Curiosity isn't, it doesn't, if you're truly a curious person, you have a close focus, a far focus, you're curious about the remote that controls your heater, you're curious about the tree that's growing outside your window, you're curious about your next door neighbor. It's a habit of mind. And what I hope is that I've kind of conveyed to readers, look, chances are you're not going to think that you have any pre-existing interest in this subject, but it's super cool. And if you'll bear with me, I'll show you why I got curious about it. And my own interest is very far-flung. I mean, I'm just curious. I like to know about stuff. It's also why I don't like to revisit subjects, because I've been approached a million times to do follow-up sorts of stories about orchids in Florida, about library fires, about libraries, about, anything I've written about dogs in the movies. And I think, no, I did it. I mean, it's not that there isn't more to learn, and I don't mean to have the arrogance of suggesting that there's nothing more to learn, but the burning curiosity that I brought to it has been satisfied. And I don't think I want to go back to the subject again, because I can't bring that same curiosity a second time to a subject that I've already explored. It means that my work is harder than a lot of people's, because I don't go back to a well of existing information. I'm learning from the bottom up every time I'm writing something. But to me, that is the thrill, and I just started this new column for the New Yorker, and it's obituaries. And there could be nothing that is more strictly, explicitly the definition of what I write about, which is because each person I'm writing about is a completely different universe. They come from a completely different world. And to write about them, I have to learn a little bit about their world. And then I move on. I'm not going to go back and write an obituary of someone else who kind of emerged from the same world. That's not the point of the column. It's very satisfying to me. And I think there's a little bit of a kind of satisfaction that I get thinking that I can convince people to read things that they didn't think they wanted to read. Mm-hmm. And that's where I get my ego satisfaction. And when people say to me, boy, I sure didn't think I'd read a book about orchids, I'm really happy to hear that. I feel like that's a greater accomplishment than the orchid grower who says, well, of course I read your book. I read anything about orchids. And I had so many people come to me after the Orchid Thief who said, boy, I never thought I would read this book. And I think, well, that's great. Then I've really accomplished something.